different groups of people in this country. I can't tell you how much I sympathize with the way everybody has had to endure.
Several ethnic groups in this nation. I can't express how much I feel sorry for everyone who has had to go through this. January 14th, 2025. Sleeping beneath a bright Norfolk winter sky is Sandringham Estate. By 2 in the morning, the temperature had dropped to -3 degrees Celsius. With the exception of security lights lighting the gardens and the faint glimmer from the East Wing's nocturnal staff quarters, the main house, a vast red brick Victorian home that was the royal family's private hideaway for more than 160 years, is silent in the dark. After the Christmas season, King Charles has been in residence for 10 days. He prefers Sandringham's seclusion for winter work, going over paperwork, holding brief private meetings, and taking in the countryside, which always feels more like home than any palace. He is accompanied by Queen Camilla, a few key employees, 2 security guards, Sir Clive Alderton, the King's private secretary, who works late in the study, 3 domestic workers in residential quarters, and the estate manager, whose cottage is located 200 yards from the main house. A protection officer on external patrol sees a problem at 2:47 a.m. Through windows on the east side of the ground floor of the house, next to the library, there was a faint orange glow. Confusion rather than alarm is his first assessment. Maybe lights were left on. The glow becomes stronger as he observes, but maybe Sir Clive is still at work, and he recognizes what he's seeing in a matter of seconds. Horrifyingly quickly, the fire spread through apartments containing rare historical artifacts, royal correspondence, and, most importantly, sleeping people in quarters directly above. He makes a composed but urgent radio contact to the security command post, utilizing the emergency codes that initiate thorough response procedures. Alarms go off throughout Sandringham's hallways within 90 seconds. Protection officers are sprinting towards the King's first-floor private chambers as the automated fire suppression systems activate. Charles awakens to alarm bells and the foul stench of smoke seeping beneath his bedroom door while he is phoning Norfolk Fire and Rescue Service. His first perplexity is overcome by his training, which consists of decades of emergency preparedness exercises that royals go through specifically for situations like this. He promptly awakens Camilla, and as they approach the door, the protection officer arrives without fanfare and orders them to leave right away. They must go immediately since the fire is in the East Wing and is growing quickly. Charles inquires about employees, household members whose quarters are in the impacted wing, and Sir Clive, who is working late. The remark from the cop is evasive in a professional manner. "They must relocate immediately, sir, but everyone is being evacuated." After helping Camilla put on her dressing gown, the King leads them through smoke-filled hallways to the main staircase. Even as they move away from the source of the fire, the protection officers' bodies are protecting them from the suffocating heat. Although effective, the evacuation is harrowing. Employees emerge from different nightclub quarters, some coughing from smoke inhalation, all heading towards the front entrance, where the chilly January air offers startling respite from the heat and stuffy environment within. In the event that the fire threatens to consume the entire building, Charles and Camilla are led to a Range Rover that is parked on the front drive with its engine running and prepared for an emergency evacuation. Charles, however, won't leave the immediate area. Standing outside the car, I watched with increasing terror as flames emerged from the East Wing windows. As Norfolk Fire Service's sirens approach from miles away, orange and red lights illuminate the night. The flat terrain was traversed by their desperate wail. 27 minutes after the initial discovery, at 3:14 a.m., the first fire engines arrive. Remarkably quick considering Sandringham's remote location, but an eternity when people may still be inside a historic structure that is being destroyed by fire. The teams deploy right once, setting up water supplies from the estate's emergency systems and starting to fight the flames that have already penetrated the East Wing's roof. Charles watches firefighters fight to save a building his family has owned since 1862, where his mother visited every January until the year she passed away, and where his great-great-grandmother, Queen Alexandra, loved to spend Christmas while standing in his dressing gown in -3 degrees. He refuses to take cover or blankets, but the people are more important than the building, and he keeps posing the same query to anyone who will respond. Is everyone gone? Are all employees present? The responses are incomplete and arrive slowly. The king and queen are safe, according to protection officers. It goes without saying that the 2 domestic employees who were evacuated from the ground floor rooms are safe and receiving treatment for mild smoke inhalation. Some people are missing, but the estate manager responded from his cottage and is working with the fire department. Sir Clive Alderton was last observed working in the ground floor study close to the source of the fire. Margaret Thornton, a member of the cleaning crew, had a room directly above the library. James Whitmore, a 28-year-old junior assistant, also lives in the East Wing. The structure where they should be is being consumed by fire, and there are 3 persons whose whereabouts and safety are unknown. The fire is mostly confined by 4 a.m., although it is still raging in some areas of the East Wing. The East Wing itself, the ancient library, the private study, and numerous residential quarters are being methodically burned, although firefighters have stopped it from spreading to the main resident portions. Charles won't move from his spot on the front drive as the temperature drops even more and employees congregate in emergency vehicles. Beside him, Camilla was covered in a blanket that someone had made her wear. While 3 individuals are still missing, they are both watching their house burn. In addition to keeping everyone, including the king, at a safe distance from a building that could partially collapse as fire weakens its construction, Norfolk police have set up perimeter security to prevent any unauthorized approach. Sir Clive Alderton is discovered by a fire department scouring the ground floor of the East Wing at 4:32 a.m. As he tries to go to safety, smoke overwhelms him and leaves him unconscious in a hallway close to his study. His body was displaying symptoms of severe smoke inhalation and burns from trying to move through corridors that were on fire. As they prepare for an emergency transport to Queen Elizabeth Hospital in King's Lynn, paramedics start working on him right away, clearing his airways and giving him oxygen. When Charles learns that Sir Clive has been discovered alive but seriously hurt, his relief is immense but insufficient. There are still 2 persons missing. The flames that have been devouring Sandringham for almost 2 hours had already destroyed someone somewhere in that burning building. At 7:18 a.m., the sun rises over a site of destruction. At last, the fire is under control. It is no longer spreading, but it is still blazing in isolated areas that workers are methodically putting out. The East Wing's windows have been blasted out, the roof has collapsed, and centuries of history have been reduced to charred remnants. The sad task of looking through rubble for Margaret Thornton and James Whitmore, whose silence has become its own terrible answer, is started by fire investigators in the chilly dawn light. Devastation that was largely hidden by darkness is shown at daybreak. Sandringham House's East Wing, which housed precious antiques and hosted monarchs for 163 years, is essentially demolished. The blackened stone walls are still intact, but the interior is completely destroyed. The roof fell, revealing what's left to the winter sky over Norfolk. While Norfolk Fire and Rescue Service investigators start their initial evaluation of origin and cause, firefighters continue to dampen hotspots. Charles and Camilla have been relocated to Wood Farm, a cottage on the estate's grounds that was Prince Philip's last private home. Here, they may relax and get information without having to see the grim process of sifting through debris continue. However, Charles refuses to sleep, sitting in Philip's former study with his cell phone, getting updates all the time, and waiting for news that he is growing more and more confident will be disastrous. At 8:43 a.m., the first confirmation is received. Human remains, including a body found in what was once a bedroom, have been discovered by fire investigators exploring the collapsed residential quarters above the library. Before the roof collapsed, smoke inhalation was probably the cause of death. The location matches Margaret Thornton's designated lodgings, but formal identification will take time. She was 62 years old, had worked at Sandringham for 18 years, and was well known around the estate for her warmth and commitment. When Charles hears this news while seated in his father's chair at Wood Farm, he is unable to speak for a few minutes as he tries to comprehend that someone died in his house while he was still alive. There are no suitable words for this, so Camilla sits next to him silently. Because of the fact that they were there at Sandringham and needed personnel and assistance, someone was in the building when it burned. 90 minutes later, there is a second confirmation. The body of James Whitmore is discovered in a hallway on the ground floor. There is evidence that he was trying to get to the outside door when smoke and flames overtook him. He was 28 years old, had just been a member of the